Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Welcome to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University at Chaitanya Studio, Ahmedabad. Today we are going to start the web application tools like Z and ZAP, Z attack proxy tools. So today's agenda are for the learning objectives, introduction, application inspection tools, for ZAP, that is also known as Z attack proxy, and also we will see the application inspection tools like WebGot. So for the today's session, the learner will able to identify different kinds of web vulnerabilities, usage of web app tools for inspection, and also we discuss regarding ZAP and WebGot. So these are the tools for the web app for the inspection. This section covers tools that assist with manual analysis and interaction with web application. Basically, learner or security researcher or pen tester cannot directly attack or penetrate on particular website or web application without prior permission. So how can they learn or get practice for the finding the web vulnerabilities? So OWASP will provide some tools. Also in the internet there are softwares available for performing such kind of practice also. So basically it is divided into two parts. In this section we care more about how the web application handles cookie values or how it responds to different values for a URL parameter, or what kind of data it accepts from a form submission. So there will be application inspection tools available over the internet for performing such kind of practice, because if researcher or pen tester will directly perform the penetration testing on specific website without permission, might be possible he or she will be penalized. So before that we must have a permission for performing such kind of vulnerability scanning. So if security researcher or pen tester wants to perform such kind of attacks, then they must have the tools for performing this vulnerability scanning. So this section will cover the tool which identifies the SQL injection, logic flows, XSS attack, and many more. Also, it focuses on manual analysis of web application as well as traffic analysis over the web. So, I would like to introduce here ZAP, which is very famous tool. ZAP is also known as Z Attack Proxy, is an open source program or tool, we can say, offered by OWASP. OWASP is a one project, or basically the open web application security project, which find out the top 10 vulnerabilities, or we can say OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. So through that, attacker or security researcher or pen tester can find out the vulnerabilities listed inside the OWASP project, as well as through that Z Attack Proxy will help to find out such kind of or discover the vulnerabilities available in your web application or website. So it's an open source program, and in Kali Linux it is pre-installed. So if you would like to use Kali operating system for pen testing, then you can directly get it in your operating system, Kali Linux. Otherwise, we have to separately install into our operating system for scanning the vulnerabilities. So ZAP provides to detect following kinds of threats like SQL injection, session management, XSS, broken access control. For example, security researcher or pen tester or attacker wants to get the benefit from the misconfigured database statement or SQL statement into the website or web application. He or she will find to inject some malicious code, or he or she will get the entire dump or partial dump of database through this SQL injection. Another one is session management. So if it is not configured or programmatically properly, while developer make some mistakes throughout the website or web application, at that time attacker can get benefit of it through the session management. For example, attacker will copy the session or trace the session value into the proxy. Then after, he or she will misuse that session value onto the another statement or onto the another message, and throughout he or she can intercept the message also and get benefit of it. XSS attack like malicious code can be directly upload or some script will be there. So whenever the input validation is not properly configured, at that time such kind of attack can be happen. Then after broken access control, so through the broken access control or misconfigured file or unauthorized access, we can say it can be possible. So such kind of threats can be detected through the Z-attack proxy tools. Also there are some various threats like security loophole in configuration file. So while deploying the entire code onto the web server, sometime developer or deployer may forgot to provide the permission of configuration files. At that time attacker can get benefit of it. Another one is the sensitive data leak. So might be possible if in the web server there is a sensitive data can be leaked, inadequate protection, unsecure APIs, application programming interface. So sometime third party programmer or third party developer wants to communicate with your web server and get the data directly onto his or her program. So possibly the entire data of your web server can get through the APIs in the form of either JSON or HTML or XML format. So unsecure APIs is also there, major concern, and many more non-vulnerabilities can be detected through this ZAP inspection tool. Basically, ZAP provides various features as shown below, like active scan, alert. So active scan, this is to discover non-vulnerabilities against targeted attack. So in ZAP we have to provide one URL and rest of the things will be done through the ZAP by clicking on scan button. So it discover the non-vulnerabilities available inside the web application or website. Alert is there. So an alert is the prospective vulnerabilities with specified request. So alert will be find out or prospective vulnerabilities. If it find, then alert will be generated. After that, API, as we discussed earlier, API, Application Programming Interface, which helps to get the data programmatically. So, ZAP is also providing the API facility. Through that API, the Python programmatically. So, if we wish to get it programmatically, whatever provided by ZAP can be configured into Python program also through the API, and it will supports the HTML, XML or JSON format. So, security researcher or pen tester can develop his or her own program also for performing the ZAP task through the API. Also, it supports for the authentication. So, ZAP handles various types of authentication that is used in web application like manual authentication, form-based authentication, HTTP authentication and script-based authentication. For example, authentication is basically used for the authorization process. If someone is authenticate to allow or to allow inside a specific role, then at that time authentication will be come into the picture. So, form-based authentication like it supports window-based authentication also. Suppose developer create its own authentications and then it may be a manual authentication. So, user credential will be validated through this authentication. So, such kind of authentication is also supports in ZAP, Z-Attack Proxy tool. Then after there is HTTP session. So, generally session is used to track the website. Basically, for transforming a data from one page to another page or throughout the website, the session is more helpful for the developer. For example, suppose I have a shopping cart website, online shopping. So, in that, at some page, I would like to add some item into my cart, and then after I am also surfing onto the another page, my data will be stored inside session or cookies. So, at the time of checkout or in the shopping cart, okay, so it will be get entire data whatever you have saved in your shopping cart can be get through the session, as well as we can also pass some sensitive information through the session also. In ZAP, user can switch the user session on a website to create a new session instead of destroying the existing ones. So HTTP session is also provided into the ZEP. There are several modes available in ZEP, like safe, which is not dangerous; protected, that means potentially dangerous action in URL; standards, that means you can do anything; attack, new nodes are actively scanned while it discovered. So these are the various modes available to help the security researcher or pen tester for find out the vulnerabilities. And through these modes can practice also. Mitm proxy, man in the middle proxy. MITM stands for man in the middle proxy, who allows you to check all the incoming request and outgoing response from the web application. So it will be reside between client and server, and through this MITM proxy, all the incoming request and outgoing response throughout this proxy, it can be passed throughout MITM proxy, which is also a features of Z attack proxy application inspection tools. ZEP provides session management. It covers cookie based as well as HTTP authentication based session management. So cookie session can be considered into the session management. So user can track this value also. Tags, basically tags is a short information text which is associated with all requests. For example, sometime error, so error is there, sometime info, sometime notice. So it is an example for manage the tags. So through that you can also manage the tag in Z attack proxy tools, and it can be managed by manage tags dialogues. So user can easily identify whether it is categorized into information, or whether it is from the notice, or whether it is from the warning, or whether it is from the error. So there are so many tags, or user can also find out through this tags window inside Z attack proxy tools. So here you can see the Z attack proxy tool. There is a total 6. One indicate the tool menu bar, 2 indicate that is a standard toolbar where we can find some scanning, proxy, or like that. Third indicate the structure view. Fourth indicate that is work area, or we can say here the main window or that is used for providing the URL of targeted host. So here you have to provide in the URL and also you can browse it by clicking on select button, and then after you can click on scan. So rest of the things will be done through the Z-Attack proxy tools. The fifth window is your processing window, we can say, or search bar is there, history is there, output window is also available, and active scan. So such kind of process can be uh, displayed inside the palette number 5, and the bottom side 6 number represent the status bar, where alerts or scanning or custom scan, such kind of status can be viewed at the bottom of this software. So this is the way where you can perform the Z-Attack proxy application inspection tools. The another one is WebGot. So security researcher can or pen tester can get the practice on it throughout ZAP. As we have seen earlier, the WebGot is also another tool designed by the OWASP. So WebGot is deliberately insecure web application maintained by the OWASP, designed to teach web application security lessons. It also includes numerous exercises for the topics ranging from injection flow over cross-site scripting, XSS we can say, to denial of service, DOS attack, and many more. So such kind of attacks can be performed through this WebGot software. So here you can see the WebGot interface, and which is pre-installed in Kali Linux. So whenever you perform the WebGot, here you have to provide the credential for performing the attack or performing some vulnerable task. So by default there is a guest user, and also there is a admin user. So for the guest user, the username will be guest and password is also guest for the guest account to perform the malicious task. Admin role is there. Inside admin we have to provide the username as a WebGot and password is also a WebGot for performing some administrative task inside the WebGot. So through the WebGot we can perform the some task like password, then XSS attack, and so many vulnerable tasks can be done throughout this left hand side palette. You can perform this task available inside the WebGot. So here the WebGot is a one kind of a project, OWASP project. Especially the WebGot are great resources for doing exactly that. Especially in the field of web security, learning how to hack can be greatly beneficial for anyone aspiring to improve their skills in web security. Thank you very much.